guys, welcome back to my channel. It's time for another Testimony Tuesday story, and this time we're going to be talking about tongues, sort of, I think. I'm not really sure what happened, but it was a really cool experience and I wanted to share it with you to remind you that miracles still happen and sometimes we just can't explain the way God is working and we can't explain the spiritual realm. So if you are familiar with the concept of tongues, the next couple of seconds will probably be like, I already knew this information, but for those who are not familiar, I just wanted to point out that it's listed as one of the spiritual gifts. There's speaking in tongues and then also interpretation of tongues. And I will put the verse in right here when I edited this video, but there is this concept of being able to speak in languages that you are not necessarily familiar with or that are not your primary language. And then also this concept of being able to understand and interpret the languages that are being spoken to you. And both of those are listed as spiritual gifts that not every member of the body has, but some members will have. And up until this point in my life, I've never had any experience with tongues personally. I've heard people start saying whatever they're saying, whether they're legitimately speaking in tongues or whether they are mimicking something that they've seen. That's between them and God. I've never known. I was never like, oh yeah, I understood what they said. I've never been the person that started uttering these types of phrases where other people were trying to figure out if I was speaking in tongues. I've always just kind of been on the sideline when it comes to the tongues conversation. And last week, I had an experience that completely blew my mind. So I have been participating in NaNoWriMo, which is the National Novel Writing Month challenge where you write so many words a day towards a novel or a book or whatever it is that you're trying to get done. And so I started this on the 1st of November. And one day I was basically dragging my feet about writing, so it was really late when I started. It was probably like 10:30 when I sat down and started writing. And so, around 11:30, I started to get tired, I started to doze off, and I was having trouble staying awake as I tried to meet my daily writing goal. And as I was drifting off to sleep, suddenly I heard this word. I don't know where it came from. This word just kind of popped into my head. I was hearing it being said, and it sounded something like Usimpe or Usimbi or something like that. And I thought it sounded pretty, to be honest. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, that sounds pretty. That could be like a good character name. So I scribbled it down when I came to, and I realized that I was just not being productive at all. So I went to sleep. When I woke up the next morning and I looked at my notes, of course I have this word scribbled here, and I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh yeah, that's that word that I heard while I was half asleep. And I was like, I wonder if that's actually like a word. Like, where did that come from? Why did those sounds pop into my head? So I typed in like the phonetic spelling that came to my mind of this word into Google to see if it was a word. If if it was a person, is it a word? Like, where did this idea come from? And guys, it is actually a word. Possibly, sort of. So when I typed it into Google, it led me to this word in Swahili that if any of you guys actually speak Swahili, please correct me or confirm or whatever, because I do not speak Swahili at all. The most Swahili I've ever heard is what's taught for like Kwanzaa. So I looked up the phonetic spelling that I had heard, and I found this word in Swahili that is spelled Uzembe, which from an English speaking perspective, from an American English speaking perspective, it looks like it would be pronounced something like Uzembe or Uzembe or something like that, which is very close to what I heard in my dream. And so I was like, oh my goodness, this is a real word. And so I looked up the definition of this word. I looked up like the translation, and it means laziness. was like, what are the odds that as I am falling asleep because I have procrastinated to do what I need to do, that I would hear a word in Swahili that means laziness. It just blew my mind. That cannot be a coincidence. I don't know the meaning of it. I don't know why that word was given to me. I don't know if that was an angel trying to warn me about my laziness. I don't know if that was a demon trying to put a curse on me. I've already rebuked that possibility. But it definitely, it definitely did something in terms of my spirit, because I came out of that in just awe, right? Like, I mean, granted, obviously I am inspired to not be lazy, but I'm also just like mystified by the occurrence at all. So I wanted to share it with you guys. It didn't really feel appropriate to share it last Tuesday, which is why I didn't share a video at all last Tuesday. In the midst of everything that was going on, I just kind of didn't feel like it was appropriate. So now that everybody is a little bit more relaxed and breathing, I wanted to share that with you guys. And yeah, as always, leave me messages in the comments, especially if you speak Swahili and you know that word, and you have, or if you have experiences like this, I'd like to hear about it. And otherwise, just, what has God been doing for you lately? It doesn't have to be similar. It can be small. It can be large. Whatever's on your heart, feel free to share in the comment section. And of course, this would not be a proper YouTube video if I did not encourage you to like and subscribe to videos. You guys have no idea how much it helps people share their content, and also just understand what you guys like and what you guys don't like. So I'm asking you, if you like this content and if you would like to hear more, definitely please like and subscribe. One other thing before I say goodbye, I do want to point out something that has been happening recently, and that is the tropical storm that went through Florida, South Florida this past weekend. I am in South Florida, and that's one of the reasons I'm aware of it. But also just a reminder that it went through Cuba and Nicaragua, and I think Honduras before it came through South Florida. And it actually went through Nicaragua as a Category 4 hurricane. Being in South Florida during the tropical storm version of it, there was a lot of water, there was a lot of flooding. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of damage that was done in Cuba and in Nicaragua. And so I just want to encourage those of you who have the financial means to make sure that you're always looking into ways to help those who are affected by natural disasters. Because I do believe that some of us are blessed with more for that express purpose, to give that blessing to others. So I just wanted to put that reminder out there, and yeah, that way maybe somebody in one of those countries will be saying a testimony about you helping them next week. So with that being said, I hope you have a blessed week, and I will see you guys again later. Bye!